The message on the screen says you're not live. The screen in front of me, you're live.
Don't tell me what I'm doing. I do
Great.
what I want.
Welcome, Feliz Martes. Happy Tuesday.
Yay,
We meet
Tuesdays.
again. We meet
What?
again.
Yay.
Yeah. You know how last week I kept singing the Good
Uh
Morning
huh.
song? So instead of me singing it, I thought we could let the
Uh,
originals do it. Ready? Just for a little
yeah.
bit. We don't want to get copyright strike. Ready?
Good morning from all of us here in the Magic Kingdom.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to stay up and good morning. Good morning.
Okay, that's all we can do. That's all we can do.
Uh,
Remember that?
the good old days when, how did you put it? When we were all, the 10 people that could actually see it were crammed together to watch out in front of Magic Kingdom because that space was so
Yes.
little.
We were always 2 of the 10.
Yes. Yes.
Always 2 of the 10, but we enjoyed it
We
while we
did.
had it. So today we're going to have a little bit of news, and I do mean a little bit. And then we're going to talk about ways to save on Disney World trips. And then we'll have your comments at the end. So if you want to comment while we're talking or ask about your own trips, feel free. And then we will get to it after we get to the other things.
Yeah.
So, welcome. All right. Are you ready for this hard hitting news?
This news, I mean, I don't even know how to handle it. It's a lot. So please be gentle.
I will take it easy. Okay. So, what we have is Harambe Market, which is at Animal Kingdom in the Africa section.
Hmm.
I kind of call it like an outdoor food court. That's
Yes.
what it that's what it feels like because it's an outdoor area with lots of windows and you can go and order your food. It's been closed since October and it is reopening soon. Now, the date that it's reopening is debatable. There are some different guesses out there, but if we go solely on the calendar on the Disney World website, it's March 1st
Hmm.
because before that, they do not have hours.
Nothing.
But there is speculation it might open sooner because Dinosaurus
Restaurantosaurus.
Restaurantosaurus, not Dinosaurus.
Dinosaurus is
um,
great.
yeah, I was like, I think I messed something up, but I'm not sure what.
What it was. That was fantastic.
Yes, Restaurantosaurus is closing this weekend, and so speculation is something has to open to sort of take those people, feed
Yeah.
them. But they also have a new menu that is coming, and you'll see the description here. It says Savor African inspired fare at an open air plaza, which is what I've always liked about it
Hmm.
because it had some like different food. But then what you see here in the photo
I was going to say
is
something. It's
chicken
chicken.
tenders. And what we have here is a burger and fries.
No.
Now we do have some other things. Like this is the Harambe salad,
It looks like there's an
and
exotic olive on it. And
there
it
is a wild olive. And then okay, we're back to the chicken strips. And then we do have a wrap here, a harissa chicken wrap with fries,
uh
and a big old cookie with every topping in it. A
wait,
Congo
that's a
cookie.
cookie with another cookie in it. That's Oreo.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. And M&Ms and chips, all kinds of stuff.
Please tell me these are just placeholder photos and it's
No, I don't think so. But
no.
I'm a little bummed because this is not as fun as the old menu. But
No.
if it is taking the place of Restaurantosaurus,
Restaurantosaurus.
Restaurantosaurus had a very basic menu.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of a mix or something. Like, yeah, we'll give you your burgers and chicken tenders, but also here's a couple other things.
Yeah. I do hope that they keep some of the more adventurous items somewhere in the menu.
Yeah, I don't love that.
I don't either.
Um, I
Womp
don't love that.
womp.
But picky eaters might like it more. I don't know.
Hmm.
I just don't like when they do when what you think of as theme park food is what Disney ends up creating because it's like no,
Hmm.
no, 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 do something different, do something different.
Yes, especially in a space that's like so heavily themed because that whole, I mean, all of Disney World is heavily themed, but that is in particular a very heavily themed area. It's weird to sit and dine on a chicken strip and burger when you've got like the the walls and the stuff on the walls, and I don't know how to describe it. Words are hard right now because I'm so sad. But yeah, very disappointing.
But it's opening sometime between now and March 1st. So that is coming. And,
Hopefully.
if you want to eat back in that section of the park, now you have an option.
Mm-hmm.
The other news thing is there is a DCL offer. As some people know, it is hard to save on Disney cruises. There aren't a ton of ways. But they have a new promo, 20% off some cruises, plus a $250 onboard credit on select sailings. And this is for specific ships and specific dates. So the Disney Wish and Disney Dream sailings specifically, and it's specific sailings between April and July of this year. So 2 ships between April and July. You have to book by March 29th. The Disney Dream sailings in Europe are not included, only the April dates for the Dream in Florida. So it is a great opportunity if you are planning to cruise fairly soon. I mean, that's pretty soon for a cruise, April to July. So I am going to drop a link to our quote request form because you can combine this offer and this onboard credit with Small World Travel's onboard credit offers as well. So you get multiple onboard credits, and then that credit is automatically in your account when you're on the ship, and you can use it for whatever. If you're, whatever extra you're going to pay for, you use the onboard credit for. And I am going to drop a link in the chat.
So that seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah. I love a way to save money on Disney cruises because it's just not that common.
No.
Just not that common. All right. Any other news today?
No, but it feels like that is a perfect segue to the topic of the day.
It is. And today's topic is about saving money on Disney World trips. Can you believe it? It is possible.
And it feels like it's even more necessary now than it was 5 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I want people to know that we are as passionate about this as you are because nobody pays for our trips. This is a very common misconception that, like, if it's your job, that somehow Disney is paying for it or somebody's paying for it. No one's paying for it. We pay for everything ourselves. We have to generate revenue, and then that revenue pays our salaries and trips. So we also love saving money on Disney World trips. So there's different categories and ways to save. I'll start with the ticket and the lightning lane savings to get us started. One is to look at your lightning lanes and see which ones you actually need to buy. Now, I am on record saying I will pay money to save time all the time. So we do buy lightning lanes a lot, but there's only 2 of us. 1, 2. So our multiple is much lower than a lot of people. If you have 4, 6, 10, it really adds up. I recently did a podcast interview with somebody who's traveling with a group of 18, and like 20% of the budget is some sort of lightning lane. Like, it is expensive.
It's
so
ridiculous.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
So if you're picking and choosing on lightning lanes and you want to use it where it's most advantageous, we usually recommend buying it for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios because it seems to work the best there. And then in Epcot and Animal Kingdom, buying just a single pass. Because if you get Guardians, the Galaxy at Epcot, and Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom, those lines are very long. So if you can get a single pass for those 2 rides, but not necessarily multi-pass lightning lanes, then that can be a way to save money, but also not wait in super long lines.
Yeah.
When you and I were doing some testing at Epcot, we used lightning lanes and stuff, but we were like, we totally could have done this without.
Absolutely could have. I feel like most times of the year you can get through Epcot without a lightning lane, without a multi-pass, with maybe only having to stand in one line that's 30 minutes or more. And that's just because of the distance between Remy's and the rest of the attractions in the park. It's kind of put you at a disadvantage. It's hard to, if you're coming in from the front of the park, it's hard to get to Remy's for anything. But if you go at the end of the night, if you use the single rider line over there, You can cut down your waits, and it's not that difficult to tour Epcot with just a single pass.
Yep. Totally. So if it's not in the budget, don't fret. It's still doable.
Yep.
Another option to save money on tickets is to not get a ticket for every day of your trip. Instead, you can plan a non-park day or more than one in the middle of your trip, because there's a lot of things to do at Disney World that are not park related. You can go to your resort pool. You can go to Disney Springs. You can do, just have fun on the monorail, the Skyliner, whatever it is. You don't have to have a ticket every single day. Another thing is, don't add park hoppers unless you really use them or want or need them. We do really recommend park hoppers in a few different situations. For instance, if you're traveling during party season at Magic Kingdom between like late August and December, then we do recommend park hoppers, because there's so many parties that it can be really hard to navigate that schedule. And park hoppers allow you to do that in a way that works. Another park hopper suggestion is, if you're at a hotel where you can see a park, then having a park hopper can be helpful, because it's weird to be able to see a park and not go into it. Like if you are a 5 or 10 minute walk away from Epcot and you're like, well, we can't actually enter it.
Yeah.
It just feels like, why are we staying here? But like, if you do have a park hopper, then it's fun to just be able to dip into a park.
Yes.
Like go to Animal Kingdom in the morning, come back, and then head into Epcot for dinner or something. So park hoppers can be really advantageous for that. Also, this is something that's been coming up in the DMs a lot. Extended evening theme park hours are a perk of deluxe and villa guests, but in order to use them, you have to have a ticket to that park that day. And so sometimes park hoppers are the easiest way to do that.
Yes.
Like if you weren't planning to go to the park that day, all day.
Yes, and they're easy to add on to your tickets. So you can add that. You almost always add them on anymore inside the app. You used to have to go to like guest services to add it on, but you could add it in the app. And if you do purchase a park hopper and you wind up not using it, you're not going to get your money back. So definitely wait to purchase it if you're on the fence.
And it's not, a lot of people think you can purchase it for one day. Like, I just want to hop, one day of my trip, I'm just going to add it that day. It doesn't work that way. It's a flat fee that is applied to your whole ticket. And so one day isn't going to do it. So that's another reason to really think through it, because if you commit to it, it's going to apply to your whole ticket, not just the day that you want it. So anyway, park hopper might be useful, might not. You just need to figure out what makes most sense for you. The last thing in the sort of the ticket category is to watch for promotions. There are Florida resident deals, there are military deals, Disney Plus deals. There's something out for the summer related to tickets. So that can be a way to save as well. Can you talk about hotel?
Yeah. So how to save on your hotel and your resort stuff. One of the biggest ways is, if you are the kind of person who likes the nicer hotel, but you've got the beer budget, so that champagne style with the beer budget, renting DVC points is a great way to do that. You can typically get a deluxe resort for more of a moderate price. It does come with some risks. You're kind of locked into this trip. It's not easy to cancel. If you can cancel at all, highly recommend getting some trip insurance if this is something that you decide to do. But on the plus side, you can stay at a really, really nice resort for way less, sometimes up to 50% less than if you book directly with Disney.
Yeah, definitely one of our favorite ways to save. But as Heather said, not without risk. We do have a graphic on how the point rental process works. So I've shared it on the screen. There are calculators online where you can calculate the number of points you need, and then you have to locate the available points to rent, either from an individual. We work with David's Vacation Club Rental, and then you have to pay for your points, and it's all up front. Your entire amount is up front. And then if you want to, you can add on things like travel insurance and the Disney dining plan to it. And that can be a really great way to stay deluxe, but not pay deluxe.
But not pay the big money. Another way to save some money on your resort stay is to not do unnecessary room upgrades. Some of the resorts have options for upgrades that aren't really needed to get the same type of stay. For example, I really like All Star Sports for race day weekends because it's a smaller one of the All Stars. It's inexpensive. It's the first on the buses. There's a preferred room option there, but that resort for being a all-star is relatively small. I don't need the preferred room. Just a regular room category there is fine. A preferred room would maybe save me 2 extra minutes walking, which is not worth the extra cost for that. So be really
But also,
smart.
a lot of people think preferred rooms are nicer rooms, and they're not.
Oh,
They're the
no.
same rooms,
It's
different
location. It is
Mhm.
only location. So unless you are really locked into the preferred location because you want to be closer to transportation or to the main building, you don't need to always have that room upgrade.
Nope, not necessary.
Not necessary. If you are going, make sure that you are checking for discounts and promotions. So annual pass holder, if you are an annual pass holder, hopefully you're familiar with the discounts that come along with that, because those are some of the best room discounts that you can get. And in some cases, depending on how many days you're planning to go to Disney World over a year, it might make sense to upgrade to a pass holder just so you can get those room discounts because they're so fantastic. But also Disney Visa has promotions as well. That's another way to kind of save a few dollars. It's not typically as much as what you can get with an annual pass, but it is often a decent amount. Florida residents, sometimes Georgia residents, those are all different populations that Disney will target with special promotions as well. And if you're eligible, those are a great way to save some money.
Mhm.
And then finally is to not forget that after you book a trip, you can still apply a discount. So the work is not over. Hopefully, if you've used a travel agent, they will be doing this part for you, and a good travel agent will. But if you are booking your own trip for yourself, keep your eye out for discounts, because once a discount drops, if there wasn't one, or if a different discount drops, you can apply those discounts to your trip. Now, the caveat to that is that there are only certain number of rooms in certain resorts that will have discounts. So even if
Mhm.
Pop Century has, it looks like Pop Century should have discounts available, if your room category isn't a part of that discount, you may not be able to apply it. But if you can be flexible, sometimes you can save a whole bunch of money just by keeping your eye out for discounts and booking them or applying them after you've booked your trip.
Yes, 100%. And all you have to do is modify it. So you log into your account, hit modify, and then see if you can apply the discount and decrease your overall balance.
Mhm.
If it's already paid off, they will refund you to your original payment source, but definitely keep an eye on it. Let's talk about food and dining, because dining obviously is a huge expense during trips. One is, most people, if their main focus is financial, skip the Disney dining plan. It is
Mhm.
almost never worth it financially. We do have a calculator that you can use if you want to search WW Prep dining plan calculator. We have a calculator, so you can put in all of your plans, and then it'll tell you if it's worth it. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. If it's worth it, and it's probably not going to be, because the Disney dining plan is set up for Disney to win.
Mhm. Yes.
And we do have a lot of advice. So if you want to maximize it, we have a chart, a spreadsheet of all the best credits. And if you're doing a lot of like character meals and stuff, then that can definitely skew it in your favor. If you drink alcohol, like a drink with a meal, that can skew it in your favor. But in general, the Disney dining plan is more for people that want to prepay for their food and not have to worry about the expense during the trip. But it doesn't necessarily save you money, except for in certain situations. Another is to have groceries delivered to your resort, and then use those groceries for eating in your room for things like snacks and breakfast. We do this every single trip. I have
Mhm.
kind of a standard order for us that I
Mhm.
order bananas and certain things to drink, and breakfast muffins or things like that, granola bars. And so we just grab that in the room, eat it en route to the park. We don't really have to pay for breakfast that way, at least not much for breakfast. Another thing that we do a lot, and we could do more, is share meals.
Mhm.
The portions are huge. So just because you have a group of 4 doesn't necessarily mean you need 4 entrees, because it is possible that you could split them.
Mhm.
Sometimes we order entrees, and we're like, why didn't we split it? That was way too much.
There was way
for
too
us.
much food.
Yes. Use a refillable water bottle if you don't want to buy bottled water. They are getting a lot better about providing the refill stations in the park, so that
Mhm.
could be good. And you can take advantage of dining discounts. Sometimes if you're an annual pass holder, Disney Visa card holder, things like that, there are discounts. If you're booking table service, you can choose breakfast over lunch and dinner. Like, for instance, if you're like, I really want to go to Chef Mickey's. Well, if you go to Chef Mickey's breakfast, you get the character meal interactions, but breakfast is a lot cheaper than the other meals because breakfast is in general just a cheaper meal. What a lot of people do is book the latest breakfast. So they're kind of on the cusp.
Mhm.
And for restaurants that offer breakfast and lunch, you kind of get the turnover. When they turn it over to lunch, you kind of get both, but you're paying for breakfast. But breakfast is cheaper in for dining. The last thing is you can buy discounted Disney gift cards. So a lot of people will go to like Target, Costco, etc.,
Mhm.
and get Disney gift cards at a discount. So you pay $95 for a $100 gift card or something, and then you can use those to pay for your food or anything else.
Yeah.
But that can kind of reduce your Disney trip expenses.
Yeah. In regards to the Disney dining plan, what are your thoughts
Mhm.
on the Kids Eat Free and Disney dining plan?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously great. You know, if you're going to go and you're going to get the dining plan, now your kids don't have to pay, but kids aren't super expensive.
Mhm.
So you really do have to do the math and compare. Well, I mean, you don't really have to compare it because you can stack it with other
Yes.
discounts. So, you know, great.
Great.
As long as you don't have to choose. Like, I think it's more of a problem if it's like, oh, I have to choose between Kids Eat Free
Mhm.
or this other promo. But right now, you don't have to choose. You can do both.
Yeah.
So then that's just nice, especially if you have a bunch of kids between the ages of 3 and 9.
Yes, I think that's the key part is that the kids need to be below the age of 10. And so it may sound like it'll be great for your family, but if your kids are 12, 13, 14 years old, you're not going to save anything with it.
Nope.
That's not going to do anything. Okay, let's talk about transportation and rentals. So first way you can save a bunch of money is if you are flying in to skip renting a car and just to use Disney's free transportation. That might require you to figure out how you're going to get from the airport to your hotel, but it's generally less expensive to either pay for a shuttle like with Mears Connect, or if you're looking for something like a splurge, you can do minivans if you're staying at a Disney resort. So that is an option. And you're going to save a bunch of money and not have a car that's just sitting in the parking lot that you're not driving. And then if you are on property and you need to get off property, for example, you need to go to Universal for a day, or you've got some place you want to go run and pick something up, you could also use rideshare for that. It's a lot easier than it was even when we were there back in 2020, Shannon, and we used rideshare a whole bunch. And the first time we stayed at Bonnet Creek, and it just felt like the drivers back then, they weren't as familiar with getting around property, but year over year they've become better and better, and the maps are better and better, and it's really very easy. Disney makes it very easy to use rideshare across all the parks.
Yeah, we use rideshare.
A lot.
We haven't rented a car in a long time.
Mhm.
We only rent it in specific situations, but we use rideshare a lot.
A lot. I know that can be more challenging if you've got kids, a bigger family, if you need car seats. But if you can avoid renting a car, you're going to save a bunch of money. Lastly, for this section, if you need a stroller or you need a scooter, rent those from a company that's not Disney. The nice thing about that is not only are you going to get it at a better price, you're also going to be able to take them with you. So if you rent a stroller at Disney World, you can only use it in the park. So if you have a little one who is falling asleep and they're in the Disney rented stroller, you have to take them out and you leave that stroller at the gate. If you're somebody who needs an ECV, you can't take that out of the park either. So having something that you can take with you all the way back to your room is really nice. And there's lots of companies out there, and we do have resources on the website that can help you find a reputable company to rent a stroller or a scooter from.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some general advice for like timing your trip to save money. One of those is you can travel during off-peak seasons, or less crowded seasons are also usually less expensive, and so you get the lower cost and the lower crowds. You just have to know when that is. We do have a crowd calendar on the website, and if you search for Disney World crowd calendar, you'll find it, and it shows you lowest crowds, but also the prices will correspond to that usually, so you can travel then. Also, if you're flying, you can look at different days of the week. So many people will go like Saturday to Saturday, and if you're flying and you're trying to minimize your airline costs, you can go like Tuesday to Tuesday. And I would just consider experimenting a little bit with the days of the week, because a lot of times that will save you some money. You can also look at when resort and ticket discounts are offered throughout the year. We have a spreadsheet with the history of all Disney World discounts. And so you can look and go, okay, I can see that in the summer, usually this is offered, and that's probably going to work out best for us. We can't predict the future of what Disney's going to offer, but what we can do is show you what they have before and use that to help predict what they might offer going forward.
Going forward, yeah.
You can also buy Disney merch before your trip. If you don't want to spend a ton of money on souvenirs in the parks, you can go to Target, Walmart, Amazon. There's a lot of places. Disney has collaborations with a lot of these, stores, and they have merchandise. I used to buy my Disney shirts on eBay before a trip. They were like kind of vintage retro ones. If you don't want to, if your kids are going to be tempted by the big glowy things in the park, you can go to the dollar store and pick up glow sticks and spend, $1 or $2.
$1.25 now, Shannon.
I'm sorry, the $1.25 store. The $1.25 store. There's also a lot of free activities that you can do. Like we kind of talked about earlier, you don't necessarily have to have a park ticket every day, because there's a lot to do. You can go resort hopping. You can watch fireworks from outside the parks. You can go to Disney Springs, that sort of thing. And then finally, there's cashback and rewards programs that you might be able to take advantage of, like on your credit cards and things like that.
Yes, and I would add to that to do a little research on how those points work for your credit card, because depending on how you book with points, you might be able to get a better deal using different portals and whatnot. Like, I think every card is a little bit different, but do a little bit of research to see how you can get the most bang for your buck with those points and make them stretch as far as you can between using them for flights, or if you do need a rental car, or, there's different ways that you could possibly shave some of that total dollar amount off of your final budget.
Yeah. So it's still going to be expensive, but it doesn't have to be quite as expensive.
Yeah.
If you follow some of those tips.
Yes.
All right. I think that's all of our tips for saving money. If you have other tips to share, feel free. Yes. We do have some comments. Let's see. Ron says, my first time joining live, but I've been enjoying listening to the daily shows later on. Keep it up. Okay, yeah, you can watch it on the playback. So even though we're live during a certain time, the videos are available. And then we have Christine joining as usual, and she says, hello, ladies. So there's that. The other comments are mostly me. I included some links, so hopefully those will appear. I'm not sure exactly how those work. Jessica says, monitoring for discounts is a great reason to use a travel advisor. I've literally woken up to emails from our TA saying she went in and automatically applied a new discount. Yes, 100%.
Mhm.
This is a great reason to use a travel agent, and I'm going to say a good travel agent.
Yes.
Because and Small World Travel and many people are good travel agents, but you don't want somebody that's just like your neighbor who just does it as a hobby, because it takes
Mhm.
real commitment. Because when a promo comes out and a travel agent has a bunch of clients, it's a lot of work for them to go through each one and go, okay, I'm going to get this, and they really have to have the time dedicated to do that. So definitely a good travel agent is so valuable. All right. And then Kathy, thanks for the planning help. I was about to ask about a dining plan when you already answered my question. Headed to Festival of the Arts in 12 days. When is your next Disney World trip? Kathy's been on the Kathy was a podcast guest in 2025. We don't know when our next Disney World trip is right now. Actually, Heather's going for her race.
Yes, the end of February for the Run Disney Princess Half Marathon. So I'll be down there for that, and then hanging on a couple of days just so I can be there for the start of Flower and Garden Festival.
Yes, she's doing that. It's a little bit harder for me to get there now that I live in Mexico. So Heather's going to do that. But that'll be good. And then we'll end on Liz, another familiar name, taking our first cruise in February on the Wish Us Luck. Get it? Wish us luck. I do wish you luck, Liz.
Yes, lots of luck. I'm sure you're going to love it.
Yes, you'll have to let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So tomorrow we will be back with questions that I cannot answer on Instagram. So Instagram Q&A is happening. If you are an Instagram person, have it there, and you can ask a question there too. But I only get to a certain number of questions over there. And then if there's extra, which I hope there will be, we will answer them here so we can finish out the list and get everybody an answer to their questions. So we'll be back tomorrow for that.
Bye.